Hello, people of the internet. So today we're going to be renewing the driver's seat out of my '01 Dodge Ram 2500. It's been pretty beat up for a while. I'm just putting it out, and I finally sucked it up, went to eBay and bought the cushion and the cover for it, and the slide mechanism, the release mechanism for it. I gave up the ghost a couple months ago, and it's fine for me because it's stuck where I need it to be. It's not fine for my wife or anybody else that may need to be driving it. So, got to get it fixed. No idea what snapped, what broke. Maybe it's just rusted in place. I don't know. But you can see, I got the seat out already. So let's look at the issue. Getting the seat out was actually pretty easy, but as you can see, it's pretty far gone. So that needs to be corrected. Still have to get this release out. Take the cover and the old foam that's all chewed up and nasty off. And then if I can do this without flipping the seat off of the little table, there we go. I'll figure out why this doesn't want to release anymore and let track slide. Could be because of how, it's old and things got a lot of rust and build up on them. I thought maybe a cable snap, but it doesn't really look like a cable snap. Although that one doesn't seem, I don't know. Nothing snapped though. For FYI, I did not feel that the internet needed to see how to take 6 bolts out to remove a seat. But the heads, these two in the front are bolts. The heads are 15 millimeter. This one in the back is a stud with a nut on it. You take the nut off. That is also a 15 millimeter head nut. This one on the rear, on mine anyway, mileage may vary. Yours may not be the same. On mine, this one was an 18 millimeter head nut. So keep that in mind. Yours may be different. And then since Chrysler in their infinite wisdom decided to rivet these brackets into this bracket, you have to take this off, which holds down the center console, center seat, and it's 2 bolts. One here, and they have a 13 millimeter head on them. So that's a 15 millimeter, a 13 millimeter, and a 18 millimeter. If your seat slides, you can slide it forward enough that you can get onto these with a socket and a ratchet. I had to do these with a regular boxed-in wrench to break them free, and then a ratcheting wrench to undo them. These I did with a socket. These I did with a socket and ratchet anyway. So, yeah. I need to probably set up the tripod, but you can see that's almost all the way up where it needs to be, and it's not pulling. I need to get my light. It's not really coming into contact with this. And starting to look at it, that might actually be bent. Okay, so I'm going to put this up, play with a few things. We'll come back and check out what's going on. All right, so flip the seat over, and I'm going to take the track off of the seat. My Famdabulous eBay kit. Let's see, can I get it in a shot? It's the right fabric, so that's a plus. It is not, let's see here. There we go, a little better, not much. It is not cut. It doesn't have the cutout for the lever on the side, so that's easy enough. And it also didn't come with the hog rings. So I got to be real careful when I'm taking the seat apart. Try to save the hog rings because I don't know that anybody in town is going to have them. I was playing with stuff in here before I get the seat all the way out the track. There are four 13 millimeter head bolts, 2 here, 2 in the front. It does seem that everything is really gummed up. Needs a good cleaning and a lube. I mean, you can kind of see the surface rust on everything. And this cable here, which now that I've unbolted stuff, you can't really operate it. But basically, you pull this lever, and it comes towards the bottom of the seat. This is the bottom of the seat. Pulls up to the bottom of the seat. The dog leg here pulls on this, which this is connected over to that, and it should be tight enough that it pulls this at an equal distance. This cable is not properly pulling this lever. So I think we either have a worn out cable or we have like a adjustment issue somewhere, or possibly a lubrication issue. And again, sorry, the table rolls. I've got it locked, but it rolls. That dog leg looks slightly bent out of shape. Not horrid, but it looks like it's probably been pulled on too hard one too many times in its life. So I'm going to take track off. I'm going to see what I got. It'll also give me better access to the seat. Now that I'm looking at it, that seat base, even though it's supposed to be for 98 to 01 Dodge Ram, that might not be the right seat base. This is going to suck if it's not the right one. Oh well, hopefully I can make it work. If not, I guess it's back to the drawing board. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so we're going to get these two out, take the track off, reassess what we got. Okay, so where we're at right now, let's see, I don't know, I think I got the camera out too far. There we go, that's a little better. Alright, so I went ahead and disconnected the tension spring. It runs from here over to here in this slot right there. And it just made things a little easier. Hit it with a stainless steel wire brush, just real quick, just toothbrush one, one of the small ones. Now this is moving a lot more freely. I hit that with some Kroil, letting that work in and soak. And then I got the track. I just sprayed the track down with some standard GI issue white lithium grease, but you can already see track is flowing a lot more smoothly. So that's a plus. Everything's locking where it should. And let's see if I can show an example. Yeah, we're close enough. So that's out. And you can kind of see it's moving a little. This side moves a little better than the other side did, but it's still pretty tough. So we'll lube that up, see what we got. Still not super happy about this rod here. It does have a kink in it, and it is pretty old and flimsy. These things are not exactly known to last eternities, but I think it's good enough. Realistically, all I can do right now is lube everything up, make sure it moves freely, make sure nothing is so bent or twisted out of shape that it doesn't fit properly in all positions and things like that, and hope for the best until I can get it remounted to the seat. That's pretty much where we're at. So I'm going to fiddle with this, then I'm going to grab the seat. Well, I'll probably clean the work surface off. I'll grab the seat and I'll see what I can start doing with the seat. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty much just rinse and repeat of this. Nope, I got out of frame. This moves much more. Can I get my arms? Can't get my arms past the camera. This moves much more freely now. You can see. There we go. And just like with the other side, this now moves much more freely. So I'm going to reattach the springs. Do a rough set so that both of them are in the same position. That way when I bolt them back to the, well, I guess it's not really going to matter a whole lot. I don't know. I'll put the connector and the tension spring back on here. And like I said, I'm going to wipe this down and get the table. Yeah, it's a good idea to take the slides, do a little general maintenance to the slides every so often. Some white lithium grease helps out. Yeah, let's see if we can't recover a seat. All right. So the seat is up. It's coming apart. Some of these clips actually pretty well just fell off. They weren't attached very well. That one in the front seems to be the only one that's attached worth a daggum. And the hog rings that are in it, they just came right off of everything. I didn't even have to cut them or anything. They just fell off of everything they were attached to. So it's quality. Quality with a K. That's what that is. Quality. It is beginning to look like my seat cover will probably fit, but it's going to need a little bit of modifications. The lever up here is held on with a single Phillips head screw. I had to clean mine out, had a bunch of gunk and everything, probably because the foam and whatnot was deteriorating and went into that hole. But it came apart very easily. The screw didn't strip or anything like that. So I guess now we just got to get this off of here. Like that. And should be able to kind of pick and pull and maneuver everything kind of like that. And I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing. Everything is awesome. And just like that, seat cover is off. I got 18 piles of leaves and dirt and dust. You can see just how destroyed and chewed up, just ruined that is. So let's do some cleaning. We'll come back and see if we can fit the new one in. Okay, so I'm fiddling with this seat cover, or seat base with cover. And yes, I did go double check my order. I did order it for a 98-01 Ram. Don't know if the seats changed in mine. Yeah, not the original owner. I'm like 18th owner in line or whatever. I don't think it's that far, but you get it. It's not quite right. It's mostly right, but it's not quite right. So having to do a lot of modifications with the seat. I did find the hog rings. They just happen to be under the cover, between the cover and the cushion. So check there. And I will not be leaving a link to this in the description because it's wrong. So I don't want anybody to get it. And buying the cheapest stuff on the internet isn't always the best way to go. Learn from my mistakes. LMC might be your friend on this one. I don't know if these trucks are even, they're 20-some years old. They ought to be an LMC by now. But I'm going to have to fight with this cushion a little bit. I did just get the seat base hog rings in. I'm going to refit the cushion because the cushion itself does fit. I'm going to have trouble getting the cover around everything in the positions that it needs to be in. So I'm going to fight with it off camera, and I'll come back. Hopefully it's a win, and I'll be able to show you guys some of the things that I fought with. But for now, this is where we're at. Don't beat me. Okay, I got the cushion in, and I got the seat cover on. This is not the correct, just isn't the correct one. It doesn't cover this at all. I did verify this works. I came in and cleaned this up as best I could. I applied white lithium grease. The pop function still works. It's, I mean, you can see there's a big gap there. It's just not quite right. And to make it fit over the framework everywhere, I don't know that you'll be able to see it now that everything's on. Down both edges and across the face, I had to cut about 1 inch of foam out of it, and you can see it still doesn't sit all the way down on the wire framework here. It still sits up high. Everything's tensioned. There's one clip here that's supposed to roll down and come over here, but there was no way to make it work with the way it is. So again, I don't know. maybe these seats aren't right. I know that before I got this truck, it was in an accident. It's got some mix match parts on it. So maybe the seats, the seats look like they had the right amount of wear and tear and disgustingness to match the rest of the inside of the truck. But, when you're not the first owner, you never know. I'm going to put the seat tracks back in, and we'll figure out from there. I think at very worst, I'll have to cut a piece of foam to go under, like either under that cover there or just in between these two, to fill up in this square. I guess there's enough of that left. I can do something with it. I don't know. We'll get the track on. We'll get it back in the truck. We'll see how it works. And as you can see, I've applied plenty of grease. It's starting to leak out of everything. So hopefully these all work fine now. Again, this works. Just don't know why. It's supposed to fit the truck. Supposed to be right for the year, make, and model. Supposed to be right for the type of seat. Don't know. Just my luck. It didn't work. But it is on. It is holding. Well, I could be holding better, but it is holding. It's together, and it's better than what was there. So we'll come back. All right. So track's back on. Everything's lubed up, and as you can see, pull the lever. Everybody works. Obviously, this one slides because right now it's heavy in the rear and it's not connected properly. But everything opens the way it's supposed to. Everything functions the way it's supposed to. I still need to put it on the ground and test sit in it, and see if it needs more cushioning or not. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it's just kind of one of those, it's a little fugly, and the world will keep moving on around it. But you never know. All right. As you can see, chair's in. I don't particularly care. This is a work truck. I would like to have that piece of trim or something covering that right there, but it's not. It's just not too god awful, and it works. I've tested it. The wife's tested it. We are full thumbs up approved. You can see it's not super tight here, but it's not bad. Again, there is a big gap here, but it's comfortable enough to sit in. It's actually more comfortable than the worn out old cushion, which is really nice. That moves. That still works. And I'm going to put the camera back in the tripod and show you the shuffling motion. Let's see here. Yep, right there's a good spot. Yep. Holds steady, not falling out. It's pretty good. Might actually have to readjust where the column is because I feel like I'm sitting up a little higher now. I'm not falling in. Get out. I did end up. Well, let me flip the camera. Okay. I did also end up on the seat base. There are several wires that run front to rear. Attached springs. That gives you some tension. I'm waving my hand like people can see it. That gives you some tension for when you're sitting down, supports the cushion, the whole 9 yards. You probably know how that works. Stuff falling. There's a little cardboard tube that kind of connects all those to keep them linked so that they flex a little bit more equally or at the same time. Cardboard tube was broken. I ran some thin gauge stainless steel mechanics wire. I ran four strands. So the production stuff goes from the front of the seat to the back of the seat. I ran them from outside to outsides from side to side on the seats. It's not a lot. I didn't do them super tight or anything like that. Everything has plenty of room to move. It's just enough to get so that everything kind of works congruently. Everything works together like it's supposed to. So that's it. We fixed the seat tracks, put in a new lower cushion and seat cover that may or may not, probably not, be right. And that's why we buy cheap stuff, because we've got to modify it. It doesn't hurt as much as if you buy really expensive stuff and got to modify it. And yeah, everybody get out, have fun, have a good day. Go do something you like.